Good evening. My name is Ritika Kochhar and I am an art writer. And today I'm going to talk to you about an artist who I recently got to meet, and thanks to the Tribune, I got to meet him. So this is a 100-year-old artist, and he's been called the Michelangelo of India. He's also been called, including by Prime Minister Modi, uh, the India's greatest living sculptor. And he lives not very far from me in Noida. Uh, I got to go over and see his house. His house is really interesting. So it's just all the balconies, etc., are filled with sculptures. So you've got Nehru, Indira Gandhi, Patel looking at you from this balcony in the middle of the industrial area in Noida. And that's interesting in itself. You walk into the building, and it's a fairly big building. It's not a small building. And the first thing you see is a picture of the Dandi March. And there's Gandhi bending down to pick up the first handful of salt. You walk a little more inside and you see these huge uh, sculptures of Nehru, Gandhi, Indira Gandhi, all of them staring at you. They're huge, they're gigantic. A little bit more inside, you see Shivaji, you see other mythological people, all of them staring at you. And you suddenly realize why the world thinks of Ram Vanaji Sutar as I said, the Michelangelo of India. You go inside the building a little bit more. You come into this huge hall, and in the hall there is a gentleman wearing a young gentleman. It's not very old, and he's wearing headphones, which look extremely modern compared to what you're looking at all around you. And he is sculpting out of thermocol, possibly a 7 foot tall, or even taller than that, an 8 foot a squirrel, and that tends you tend to look around and think about what you're looking at. All around you in this room is disembodied pieces. So somewhere there'll be a huge hand, somewhere there'll be a absolutely small scaled down version of one of these statues. You'll see Patel somewhere, you'll see Shivaji somewhere, you'll see a huge Indira Gandhi's head somewhere. And then you walk inside a little bit more, and that's when you find Ram Vanaji Sutar waiting to meet you, or waiting to meet me. Now, Ram Vanaji Sutar, despite all this acclaim, despite everything, is a fairly ordinary person wearing a salwar kameez, a pajama kurta, waiting for me. And despite the fact that he's 100 years old, he's absolutely in charge of all his faculties. So, except for the fact that he's wearing two earphones, hearing devices, that's the only way you can tell his age. Apart from that, he's absolutely brisk and alert, whether it's mentally or whether it's physically. So I sat down to hold this conversation with him. And uh, apart from the fact that he speaking to me in Hindi and I have to translate for you what he's saying, it was an absolutely incredible conversation, brisk. He knew exactly what he's talking about. He could tell me stories. He told me so many stories, and it was a wonder to get to meet this person. And as I said, it's rare to get to see somebody up so close, personal, who you would consider a legend. So he was born in Maharashtra. He was, by the time he reached the sixth standard or so, uh, in his village in Maharashtra, there was no longer uh, this. There was no more classes after that. So his teacher told him to follow him to another village to study. When he got to this other village, he realized that the teacher was getting him to do odd jobs, etc., much more than he was asking him to study. And he found himself more immersed in that. So one day he sees a golden door in a dream, and he realizes that he has to run away. So to study further, he runs away. he moves to Bombay and starts studying. He very influenced by the Elephanta caves and the Trimurti image in the Elephanta caves. He decides that he wants to look at sculpture. This man manages to get into the JJ school, and where he ends up winning the gold medal in sculpture, etc. He then goes. He starts working in Aurangabad with the Department of Archaeology, and there the critic Charles Fabry sees his work and asks him to repair uh, the noses, etc., of the sculptures in the Elephanta caves. So with cement, he starts repairing the sculptures. He then he moves to Delhi after that, where he starts working with the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. And when he's in Delhi, he also starts working on this agriculture. He decides to make some sculptures for this agriculture fair that's going on. So he makes a couple and he makes a single person. And somebody at the ministry insists that he can't do this freelancing alongside his work. So he resigns. One of the first people who takes him on is the chief architect of CPWD, which is S.K. Joglekar. And he offers him the job of making the Ashok Stamp to put up at the Parliament House. So for 3,000 rupees, he makes the Ashok Stamp, and Nehru comes to inaugurate that. Now, Joglekar introduces him to an architect in Bhopal, who at this time is working on the Gandhi Sagar Dam, which is on the Chambal River. The problem is that there is a fight going on between Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan for the waters of the Chambal River at this point. So Sutar decides to make an image which is of the river goddess, the Chambal River goddess, and two young boys. One boy is well fed, is nourished, and the other boy is not. And the river goddess is pouring water to this other boy. Again, there is no money left over at this stage for him to do this work. So what does he do? He takes 10,000 rupees just for the labor. He takes a chattar, pours cement into it, lets it dry, pours more cement into it, lets it dry until a mountain is formed, and then he sculpts out the image out of this mountain of cement. Again, Nehru comes to inaugurate this statue in 1961. By this time, Nehru is impressed with his work. So he asks him to move to the Bhakra Nangal Dam and to build a statue out there. He decides to build a 50-foot bronze monument titled The Triumph of Labor. And this is to honor workers who died during the Bhakra Nangal Dam. Now, this is eventually shelved due to budget issues, but other opportunities start coming his way. Now, one of the first one of this is a 9-foot statue of the recently deceased freedom fighter, Kovid Pallappan. And this is to be put up in Raisina Hill, which is right outside Parliament House. And in 1966, this is put up there. What you're seeing right now is a statue of the Chambal River and Ram Sutar carving out this huge sculpture, this 45-foot sculpture. Okay, back to this. So this is now this Govind Pallappan statue. Even today, you can see it in Delhi, and this is now on Pandit Marg, which is in front of Gurdwara Rakabganj. So it's been put in the center of the road out there. And because now we're making way for the new Parliament House in Delhi. Now, replicas of Sardar Pant's statue are put up in Ranikhet, Almora, Ludhiana, and Lucknow. And around this time, he also created the statue of Rafi Ahmed Kidwai, who's the former Minister of Agriculture and Farmers' Welfare of India. And this is put up in Krishi Bhavan. Sutar doesn't stop out there. He is constantly creating statues after that. But a landmark moment comes in his life where he's asked to create a statue of Mahatma Gandhi. And this is for the, yeah, okay. So he has to create the statue of Mahatma Gandhi, which is meant to be put up in the center of Delhi, in the canopy in which George V was placed. And this canopy now, where the statue is, which is right in the center of Delhi, right in the middle of India Gate, is it's a 53-foot tall stone canopy. And the first thing he does is make Gandhi with two children, out of which one of them he models on, or both of them he models on his own son, Anil, at this point, a very young boy. But the statue is too big for the space. He then models, and this is the statue which is iconic and which is the one which everyone remembers even today. So this is a statue of Mahatma Gandhi sitting in a meditative pose. And this is a 16-foot statue, so it doesn't end up fitting into the space. But what it is absolutely iconic. So even after it reaches Parliament House, it becomes most famous statue that is known of Mahatma Gandhi. And it represents Gandhi's peaceful resistance and his proximity to people. So it creates this shift in national iconography from colonial rulers to, which is George V, to this champion of peace and democracy. This statue tends to become something which becomes copied worldwide. So Sutar ends up doing some 450 statues of Mahatma Gandhi, which are put up in every country of the world, from France to Australia to Brazil, all of them. And still, what he does say is that the statue which is closest to his heart is a statue of Mahatma Gandhi that he made in 1948, which was put up in his school where he studied, and it's made out of cement. And this is still the statue which he feels is the closest to him. This statue, which is in Parliament House in Delhi, a 27-foot replica was inaugurated in 2014 at the Vidhan Saudha, which is in Bangalore. And this is said to be the world's tallest statue of Mahatma Gandhi in a seated position. And at this point, Sutar decides he wants to reach the skies. So what does he do? In 2022, his Statue of Prosperity, which is a statue of Kempe Gowda, the founder and architect of the city of Bangalore, is installed in the Kempe Gowda International Airport in Bangalore. Now, this record-breaking 108-foot tall statue with a sword that weighs 4 tons is the first and tallest bronze statue of a founder of a city. So it's in the Book of Records as the tallest statue of a founder of a city. In 2023, his 175 foot statue of B.R. Ambedkar is installed next to the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Telangana State Secretariat in Hussain Nagar in Hyderabad. The statue itself is 125 feet tall and it stands on a 50-foot tall high plinth and is the tallest statue of Ambedkar in the world so far. The reason I'm saying so far is because Sutar is creating another statue even as we speak, which is a 175-foot Ambedkar statue in the Hindu Mill Memorial Project in Mumbai. Ambedkar taught people how to get work. He tells me when I ask what his favorite subject is. Big statues help in creating work. I'll tell you why he says big statues help in creating work. So one of the big statues that he worked on is the Statue of Unity, which is the statue of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, which is put up in Gujarat. And this statue, which originally it was meant to be done by an American sculptor, which Joseph Mena. The Gujarat government realized that it was based, his design was based on Sutar's sculpture of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, which is based at the Ahmedabad airport. So they asked L&T, Larsen & Toubro, the company who was designing and constructing the project, to bring Sutar on board. So now Sutar found that despite his huge foundries in India, etc., the this statue, this huge statue, which is a 522-foot homage to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, it couldn't be built in India. We didn't have the wherewithal in India to create such a huge statue. So the design was sent to China, and in the foundries in China, through 3D, the parts of the design were taken apart and created out there. After which it was brought back to India, where it was put together at the site. And this includes a museum. It includes an observation point. It is one of the biggest statues, but it becomes this huge opportunity to create employment for people as well. So that was, as I said, the statue we know Ram Sutar for the best. But now among the statues that he's creating now includes a 100-foot bronze statue of Chhatrapati Shivaji. A 100-foot bronze statue of Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj in Pune. A 400-foot statue of Chhatrapati Shivaji to be installed in Mumbai. And a 600-foot tall statue of Lord Ram that is to be installed in Ayodhya. Now, each of these statues is an entire ecosystem which is near it. So the statue of Lord Ram, for instance, will be installed in 61 hectares of land in Mirpur, Ayodhya, and there will be a museum, library, food court, and other tourist amenities. Rupees 447 crore was allocated towards the project in November 2019. The statue will also have a 151-meter, the statue is 151 meters tall. There's a 20-meter umbrella overhead, and there's a 50-meter pedestal. So you can imagine everything that we created around it and which will be used to give employment to people. Now, just recently, in May itself, a 91-foot tall statue of Chhatrapati Shivaji, including a 10-foot pedestal and a 23-foot sword, was inaugurated at the Rajkot Fort in Sindhugarh district in Maharashtra. And this is actually set up in less than 5 months. Because the previous statue of Shivaji, which was at this point, it collapsed in the high winds because this is the high wind area. And Sutar, with the assistance of engineers from IIT Bombay, the head of the JJ School of Arts, scientists, etc., built this 91-foot statue. But it's designed to withstand extreme winds, including cyclones. So they've tested it against cyclones. And as per the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, who inaugurated the statue, Ram Sutar Art Creations will maintain the statue for 10 years. So we know it's not going to follow in that hurry. Now, apart from me, there are a lot of people who think that Sutar's work is fairly amazing. So the Government of India awarded him the Padma Shri in 1999, the Padma Bhushan in 2016. In October 2018, he received the Tagore Award for Cultural Harmony. And in February itself, he was awarded the Maharashtra Bhushan, which is the state government's highest civilian award. Now, as I walked through with Sutar, through his rooms, etc., looking at all these statues, he takes me to see one photograph, which seems to be of importance to him out of all these various things that I put up all over. And it shows this very tiny Sutar sculpting the hair of the Chambal goddess back in the 1960s. And he is alone, this tiny figure in front of this huge image that he's already created. And to me, what it reminded me of was, if you remember your Mahabalipuram, you remember the image of, and we go back to the 4th century when these statues the whole of Mahabalipuram was put together, and which we go to look at on a regular basis. I mean, it's a pinnacle of art, according to us. And you would remember there's this one image of Arjuna's penance where you got Bhagirath, King Bhagirath, praying to Shiva to bring the Ganga down to earth. And this tiny statue just really reminded me of that because it suddenly made me realize that I have looked at Sutar's work all my life and never realized that it is through Sutar's eyes that I actually know my heroes. So I just wanted to leave you with a little thought that without us knowing it, we are surrounded by these little heroes, with these huge heroes in little forms, who are shaping the world quietly and steadily, while the rest of us don't even realize that this is being done around us. There are still heroes who walk amongst us. Thank you so much for being with me today.